Okay. Okay. Peace and love. Peace and love. It's your brother Isaiah tapping in with another one for all the conscious brothers, all my conscious sisters in the conscious community, keeping the struggle, because we know that it's through the struggle that we grow. Also, I like to say that it's a slow process for progress. And that the race is not to the swift, but it's to those that remain dutiful. So make sure you stay in the journey for the long haul. You already know I don't offer legal advice. I'm not a legal counsel or any of those titles. I'm just your brother sharing with you education and information about my walks and travels throughout my journey called life. I like to extend these honors to you. Because when you honor man and woman, you honor yourself. I like to give adoration to the Most High and extend that same love, courtesy, and acknowledgement to all its messages and prophets. Peace to you, and grand rising to all of the chosen ones who are waking in this day and time. I got a great live for you today. I'm going to be going over some concepts in order to break down estates and understanding your position in reference to your estate. All right, so now we got an observed interpretation that the divine creator as God is an account, right? So we see like account to balance, right? A sin is a divine debt, all right? Because you're not supposed to be in debt, all right? It means that you're in conflict with divine law, and because you're not in compliance with divine law, it's causing you to be in sin. All right. And confession, all these different things deals with debt, right? So we're gonna keep going. I don't know why my screen ain't allowing me to. Let me see. All right, so you got elite families secretly claim to be without sin. All right, in the 17th and the 18th century, the elite families created a fake genealogy upspringing, right? The holy Kuliini to claim themselves descendants of Mary as without sin. Okay? To eliminate the argument of equality and divine rights, the elite families created fake genealogy upbringing, 5,000 years of ancient prophets by claiming they alone were descendants from Mary without sin via the line of Jacob in chronology and the holy and the only ones with rights to rule without sin and rights to land. All right, Mary born without sin. Uh, the elite families falsely claiming these are the families over here. All these those coats of arms that you see. Those coats of arms are the families that claim royalty. All right, let me get that. All right, so they claim to be born without sin. Okay, and I don't believe that they are the ones that are born without sin. So they're born in sin, but they switched everything around and they teaching the ones that's born without sin that they born in sin. And then they saying that they are the ones born out without sin, right? They are the divine blessed ones, but they're not. You know what I'm saying? And we can see that just based off how they run things, how they do things, to be in power, how wicked, how, you know what I'm saying? You can see it. Beneficiaries, people as sheep, sinning people without right. So whenever they turn a man and a woman into a servant to where they got you working and they paying you like you are some type of servant or something instead of, you know, you having the same rights that every other man or woman had, right? Now, Western Roman model has no way out. Even if you break through one layer, the Western Roman model has no escape. All right. So, you know, the Romans uh, pretty much dominated the world, all right, and conquered, especially these Americans, right? And America is the central point of the earth, all right? And whoever controls this point controls pretty much everything, right? Now it says the reason that almost 100% of the truth and the remedy gurus that claim solutions are either lying or wrong is that the Roman system is designed so there is no way out using original sin as the basis of stealing your rights. The system perversely argues you are condemned at least 4 times for being a sinner, an idiot, morally bankrupt, and delinquent. Okay? Reality is the body. All right? And then you got rights are stripped from you at each level. Disobedience to God, a persistent sinner. Okay? So that's the first layer. And then ignorance is the second layer, that you are an idiot and incompetent in knowledge of law. Okay, that's the second layer. Then the third layer is that you are without assets, meaning you don't have nothing to support your dealings. So every time you sign over an asset, you bankrupt, meaning you ain't getting no payments or no fulfillment out of the things that you do. Whenever you put something into the atmosphere, nothing comes back. Like the Bible say, what you put into the atmosphere shall come back. So if you put value into the atmosphere and you don't receive nothing, then that means that either you incompetent, you an idiot. You see what I'm saying? And all these different things that stand before us, and people think they very highly educated and are actually idiots to the highest degree. Like I can't make it up. I can't make it up. I can't make it up. Delinquent, that you are negligent of duties and obligations. Now listen, we're gonna stay right here for a minute before I move even cause this right here, I gotta read this again. Y'all make sure y'all share, like, subscribe, and with other people, man. Please share the live out. Tap, share it out. Let people know that I'm going live. I know it's early, you know. You're supposed to be up before creation. You know, if you are the divine creator and you're put here over everything else, to rule over everything, to be in control, you got to be up before everything. You can't be sleeping. You know, nothing comes to a sleeper but a dream. You don't need 8 hours of sleep for real. That's it. But we're gonna read this again, all right? Because I'm still waiting on my mission. All right, so the reason that almost 100% of truth and remedy gurus that claim solutions are either lying or wrong is that the Roman system is designed so that no way out, using original sin as the basis of stealing your rights. The system previously argues you are condemned at least 4 times before, at least 4 times for being a sinner, an idiot, morally bankrupt, and delinquent. Now, this is real talk. What we looking at on the screen, this diagram that we looking at is real. These layers that I'm showing you are real layers in which most of us are dealing with today. The first layer is that we are disobedient to God. You see, you being a sinner, most of us don't even know we sinning. We eating pork, we eating flesh, we fornicating, we got baby mamas, we ain't got no wives. You know, we doing a lot of things, man. And when you really come to the realization and you really take back and you think about it, you say, damn. You know, poisonous animal eaters in the last days, it says that the people will become like poisonous animal eaters. Wouldn't be able to discern truth from falsehood. Won't know real from fake. Don't you see that today? They hear you out here talking about straw man, legal person, and they think you an idiot when they're the real idiots. You see? It's sad. It is. It really is sad that we allow a few people to program the whole system. You got a few highly intelligent families that have suppressed information, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of things, and giving out a lot of hope, faith, and belief to the world that things would get better while they sit and get profitable and fatten their pockets and make sure that their generations after generations is taken care of while we suffer and never figuring out why we suffering, but it's always due to our ignorance or being incompetent. While they steady entertain us by building centers and parks and all these different things to entertain you, to make you think that you getting something, when really in actuality everything is being stripped away from you right before your eyes. While you entertain yourself, they steal all your interests. You die with nothing. You die, your estate bankrupt. You don't even know what an estate is. Like, come on, man. Yeah. And that's why we here at Building Better Minds, we believe in helping the people get the proper understanding of what we're actually dealing with. You know, it's bigger than most people get into this stuff just to try to settle a debt or something to that degree. But this is this is bigger than that. Okay. This is bigger than a bill of exchange. This is bigger than a rescission of a contract. This is bigger than you being able to assert your rights in the courtroom. Okay. When you get down to what this really is and you find out what's really going on, you'll realize why they hid the truth from you and why you never knew who God really was. It was a reason why you should never figure out who God is, because when you figure that out, all the doors unlock. You see what I'm saying? So they never wanted you to know who God truly was because it'll unravel the mystery. The mystery is to keep God unknown. Man, come on, man. I can't make it up. I can't make it up. Insolvent, that you are without assets. See? They treating you like you ain't got no assets. Everything you issue is your indebtedness. Wait a minute, you sign a debt, you're indebted. Wait a minute, but the debt is also considered as an asset, and that's where equality comes in. That's where equity comes in, because all your debts are your assets, and assets generate equity, value. So the same thing that puts you in indebtedness is the same thing that delivers you from it. But what determines whether it's a debt or a credit is your intelligence. Man, listen, I can't make it up. I can't make it up. Why should I make it up when it's right before your eyes? And then you are negligent. You got 4 layers blocking you from the truth. You got 4 layers, and this is just 4 of them that's blocking you. You're negligent to your duties and your obligations. What's your duties and your obligations? Huh? What is your duty and what are your obligations? Right? So let's look this up. Because you know how I get down. I don't believe in all that. We just talk. All right, we got to look this up. Because I want you to know what your duties are. So we're going to look up the legal definition of duties. All right? All right, so the legal term definition, what does it mean, right? In legal terms, a duty refers to an obligation. Okay, so you got a duty, and then there's also considered an obligation. So a duty is what refers to the obligation. So your duty is what's referring to your obligation imposed by law or a contract that requires an individual to act according to specific standards of conduct. Excuse me. Breaching this duty can lead to legal consequences, including liability for damages to others affected by the breach. Okay? So your duty is imposed on you by every contract you sign. Every contract you sign imposes a duty upon you to fulfill a certain standard or a certain conduct to fulfill a contractual term. Okay? So a lease imposes a duty on you. A mortgage imposes a duty on you. Everything you sign will impose some sort of duty upon you. Okay, now this duty refers to an obligation. Now let's look up the word. Let's change this from duty to obligation. Okay, let's see what we got going on. All right, so in legal terms, obligation is a binding relationship, right? So the contract, right, which is uh the duty, which outlines the terms and the conditions of what your duty is. So the contract is the terms or the terminology that tells you what your duty is. And then the obligation is the relationship where one party, the obligor, is required to perform or refrain from the specific action for the benefit of another party, the obligee. And this duty is enforced by law, meaning that if breached, the obligee can seek legal remedy. So nowhere in here do I see consumer. Nowhere in here do I see man or woman. When it says obligor, it's not talking about the man. It may be talking about the man in a specific capacity because a man can't wear hats. God only created us to be men and women, right? And that's the only title that you get to wear in equity. In equity, you can only be a man or you can only be a woman. In personhood, in priesthood, you can wear many hats. You can be a buyer, you could be a seller, you could be a trader. You get what I'm saying? You can be a merchant. You can wear many different hats, but you can't do it as a man, only through your person. Your person is a special characteristic that allows you to maneuver certain things that you wouldn't be able to do without having a person. See, through the person, you can be a teacher. Through the person, you can be a gym instructor. Through your person, you can be a judge, you can be a lawyer, you can be a cop, you can be all of these things, but you have to go through your person in order to do that. Let's keep going though, because Brother Isaiah, I'm teaching today, and you in the right place today if you're here with me, because we got some good information. Hold up. I'm covered. Give me a second. Okay. Now, so let's get back to this. So, in this Roman system that we in, they're using original sin in order to determine or basically bind you to uh, being in sin. All right. The original sin is that you got to follow the commandments of the Creator and the laws that were originally laid down by the Creator, the divine laws, which intertwine with man-made law or positive law. Okay. And you got to understand that you got men and women that are acting deceptively through persons. That's why persons are very unique, because men and women can hide behind the guise of persons. They can have 3 or 4 persons registered under an entity to hide their true identity. So, and then they do deceptive acts and practices through these persons, like giving out, you know, drugs and things that hurt and harm people, and then hide behind a corporate vessel. You see what I'm saying? In order to protect themselves. So understand what you're dealing with. Now, this is what the Roman system came up with, right? Now, the first global financial model based on monetization of sin by making all profits from usury, a sin. See, it was always considered to be usury if you were to gain an interest on your brother because we had equality. So if I entered into an agreement with you and you provided something of value to me, and then I signed something of value back over to you, then the equity that I have in the same thing that you gave me should settle between us to where there's no continuation. Usury is when you receive something of value for the use of your benefit, and then you issue it for the benefit in which you purchased it for, and then somebody causes you to be indebted to them for that thing that they gave you, rather than them allowing you to, part way with the thing as a purchase, right? That's considered usury. Now they say heaven is debt is sin. You gotta understand, anybody that's paying bills right now, you in debt. If you're in debt, you're in sin. Anytime you become obligated to do something and you end up having to be the one to do it, then that mean that you in dishonor and you're in disgrace. Dishonor and disgrace, right? So you're in sin. You've done something wrong. You did something in accordance to the agreement that was wrong. And that thing that you've done is causing you hardship, or it's causing you to become burdened. Okay? Understand how this thing works, okay? So credit is grace. That's your forgiveness. Okay, debt is the sin. When you in debt and you paying out you in sin. You doing something wrong. Sin is to do things incorrectly. Okay, it's not to operate in accordance to that in which the thing was set up to do. So when you do things incorrectly, then you are sinful. Credit is your grace. That's your forgiveness. All right, and then you got confession and your promise, right? Indulgent instruments in the deed, okay? Which balances out the sin, all right? Because the sin is the debt, and you don't want to hold the sin, because if you hold the sin, then you'll be in debt, all right? So you got to get rid of it in order to get grace, and then you got to give a confession or a promise to indulge with the instrument as a deed of trust, okay? Understand that. European annuity accounting in the 1700s. The second global financial model based on English commerce model of private indulgences of exchangers' bills. All right? Now you got the confession, penance, promise, indulgent instrument, deed, and then you got the exchanger, right? Bill, money, right? And then you got the Commonwealth right. So the bill exchanger is the one that's exchanging the bill, and then the one receiving a confession and giving a promise to do something with the bill, right? Now it's showing you that the bill exchanger is the estate. The estate, and then once the bill is issued from the estate, the one who receives the bill for the estate confesses and promises to indulge the instrument in order to claim any rights, right? Now, private security accounting was a global banking model based on all non-rich people being animals and debt slaves with rights to sell their efforts in exchange for wealth. So, like prostitution, remember I told you, I showed y'all, well, I don't know if you, it's a thing called, it's called, uh, it's called commercial sex. Commercial sex is it's like it's a form of prostitution. It's basically like when you sell yourself for a lease. Say the lease provides rent, right? But instead of you uh paying with the actual thing that you're supposed to pay with, you sell yourself in exchange for the value. Meaning you go out and you prostitute yourself out. You go out, you go work a job, you go out, you go do odd things in order to generate funds to make money. You might go out and do some lap dancing, whatever you got to do to make the ends meet in order to pay for that thing. So you're prostituting yourself out for a thing. Like, listen, I can't make it up. Can't make it up. It's a form of prostitution. Let me show it to you. Because I believe in, showing people things because you don't know. Legal definition of what it called commercial sex. Okay, it is important that you learn these things, right? Because I don't know why it's acting like it don't want to give me the legal definition of commercial sex. All right, well, it took me to the code. We'll go to the code. Let me see. Coercion, threat. All right, so commercial sex, uh, commercial sex is the term. Commercial sex means any sex act on account of which anything of value is given to or received by any person. So anytime you receive, if you receive something of value and you trade it with another person, that's considered as commercial sex. Is when you're receiving items of value and exchanging them to the benefit of another person. So that's called commercial sex. Right? Now, let me get back. Oh, damn. Hmm. I just. Hold on, y'all. I just. Let me open this thing back up. I just closed this thing out by accident. All right. So let me go back. Okay. Now back to where I was at. All right. Let's get back to where I was. Okay. So since the 1950s, global financial systems ceased to be based on any measure of financial accounting, competence, or rules. and has been the largest and most corrupt Ponzi scheme in history. They plan on us, man, with, and it ain't even no money. They ain't even dealing with money. They dealing with debits and credit balances. And they putting you in the debt. You working for a credit balance or something that, when you realize how manipulative these people are, it's crazy. There is no remedy in common law. The four ends of court in London still claim control of private law system and a temple equity. Parts equals in Latin. Then you got the Gray's Inn property, lying in the field, constitution monarchy, Middle Temple mercy, and this is the Lamb of God, Lincoln Inn's private pivot, and then you got the military enforced power, right? So these are the codes of arms. These are the families that claim to be without, like sin, saying that they don't have no sin. All right. English law was burnt and rewritten in many times, right? Not a single English statute prior to 19th century can be trusted as authentic. See that? None of it, because they changed everything. That's why when we go into the code and we look at the Contract Act, it say the Indian Contract Act, and you be like, damn, the Indian Contract Act. And then you go and then it be talking about Asia, it be talking about all these different countries and acts, the original acts, and you be like, well, how is the Contract Act started with the Indians? If that's the original act, then how do we, that just let you know they've been changing stuff over and over again, revising stuff, trying to get rid of other things. You know what I'm saying? 1642, place of Greenwich Friar, statues, rolls, and records. Henry the Seventh, eighth, Elizabeth, James, and Charles. I destroyed, right? They destroyed records. Okay. 1698, place of Whitehall fire. Statues, rolls, and records of Charles II destroyed along with the key land record. In the surviving pre-17th, see, they destroyed a lot of records because they never wanted us to know the history. They never wanted us to know the truth. So in order to not have those records to do what they're doing, they had to destroy records. That's why they quickly destroy stuff. Keys, statues, rolls, records, hand over, destroyed by fire. And the same thing they did with the Twin Towers. And when they blew up the Twin Towers, they destroyed a lot of records that were in that tower, right? Palace of Westminster fire, right? Rolls and records of Commonwealth parliaments destroyed. Place of Westminster fire. See, these people ain't stupid. They knew that's the way that way they can put themselves in the seat. They had to destroy all the evidence, right? In order to make the false claims. Palace completely destroyed and all the records. Surviving statute text from Scotland show that the public general statutes of England and the Great Britain have been completely rewritten and edited at least on 2 separate occasions. They make it up, man. Nature, structure, function, and importance of its states. Okay? So we want to know about the nature. We want to know about the structure and the function and the importance of what our states are, right? Now, when we say rights are connected to persons, okay? So in order for you to be a judge, you gotta be connected to a person to become a judge. You can't become a judge without being connected to a person. You can't become a cop without being connected to a person. Okay? So part of this is for you to understand capacity, understand what it means when you have legal right to do legal acts and deeds, and understanding capacity, the hats in which you wear, meaning you are wearing them, but you're wearing them through another person in which is connected to you as an artificial characteristic of who you are. Okay, so you have artificial characteristics, even though you are a live, living human, you also have artificial characteristics that supersede who you are. Okay, and this is very important that you teach your children this concept, that they understand their capacity, because man and woman, we have many different capacities that we wear. We act in many different roles. In some roles we're teachers, some roles we're mothers, we're fathers, we're friends, we're lovers, we play many different roles, and you got to understand that. And it's all from one particular character. That one character is mama. That one character is the boss at the job. That one character is his brother. That one character is the team lead partner. He playing many different roles, but he's just one person. He's one person. Okay? It's one person. So then you got the facts that the rights, trust, and persons always connect together. Your access to rights is the nature of your access through a person. Okay? So when you want to access rights to do things, you got to go through your person. To get a driver's license, the rights to drive, the rights to acquire interest, you got to go through a person. Understand what, and they telling you, rescind your social, throw your social away. You don't want a minimum contacts. Going through the taxpayer, you cannot acquire any rights. Not in their system. In their system, anything you want from them, you got to go through the person. And that's the way it's designed. Everything is designed for that way for a particular purpose. This is one of the most unique systems that's ever been designed in the world of man's history. It's never been a system like what we have today. And for us to be unraveling the mystery and figuring out the complex ideologies of all these complex ideas that they've put together to compare and comprise a person in such a unique way, with so many unique formalities of characteristics that the average person could never wrap their mind around what they really have. You'll never really understand your whole life, what you really are and what you really are capable of. Because a lot of things are being hidden from you. Right in your face, and you're being taught other than what you should know. Purposely. Purposely. Why would I teach you to be equal like me? Why would I teach you to be able to be as powerful to do the exact same, even though you know you can do it? If you knew what I knew, you could do the exact same thing. Why would I teach you that? It don't make sense. Don't make sense. The physical you cannot hold an intangible concept, right? But a person can. Furthermore, the physical you can be connected to a likeness of you, being a person of the same name, etc. Right? Come on, man. See, you got to understand, like, first person, second person, third person, and all these different characteristics of who you are. There's some other things I would like to show you, but they put kind of restrictions on my ability to show certain information. Okay? And I'm being restricted and blocked. So I can see the information I just can't pull it up on this platform. They won't let me do it. Okay. I get it. I get it. Y'all ain't really got nothing to stand on for real. I'm all over you. I'm all everywhere. They like, damn, this boy everywhere. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a little bit of everywhere, man. I figured some stuff out, man, and I'm just very thankful for the ancestors and all the karma and everything that's coming back, man. for everything that I've done throughout my life, man, the keeping my heart right, keeping my mind right, and staying focused and studious to the mission, and not turning away and doubting what I know to be true and correct. Okay, so the person, and you got the rights and trust. So the person is your trust. You're entrusted. Through your person, you have trust. You are connected to multiple persons. The physical you is connected to multiple persons. The trust, all right, the truth is that any physical you living in a modern Western Roman society will be connected to multiple persons as normal. Therefore, anyone that says you are the person in believing you only have one person is either lying or is completely misguided on this fact. So if you go to court and the judge say, "Are you John Henry Doe?" you can say, "No, John Henry Doe I'm the representative of that person. I act as that person whenever I'm doing official acts." Indeed. So that's letting him know that you're not saying you're not the person. You're saying that you are the representative of that person, or you act under that name whenever you're doing certain acts. Indeed, which shows that it's a characteristic of who you are, okay, and not actually you. It's not actually you. So the taxpayer is not you. The real you is the living flesh and blood, divine creed created by the divine essence of the creator. That's the real you. The real you is that being inside of that physical vessel, okay? But if we would combine you together as one, we would say that the vessel in its whole is holy. So this holy vessel is you. You are this holy vessel. But this holy vessel is a taxpayer. That's one of its characteristics. It's a driver's license. It's a federal citizen. It's a state citizen. And it's a government benefit recipient. See what I'm saying? It's all of those different things. And it might have other characteristics. It might be a school teacher. Might be a basketball player. It might be a gym coach. It might have other characteristics of different persons in which it acts under, right? Remember, 3 aspects of person. Person being fictional form, enclosing attributes as the identity of a man, woman, body politic, assembling, or thing. So a person is a thing. So when you go to court and you say, "I'm representing myself," or "I'm representing myself pro se," that means you're saying you are a thing, because a person is fictional. It is not the man himself. It is always a reference of a title he's wearing. So when you say your person would be you being Captain Casey, or your person would be Judge Jefferson, that's your person. You can only wear that title with a person, okay? So when you dealing in your person, you got to be aware that your person is the fictional form of who you are. So when anybody's trying to make you be the person, they're trying to trick you as to believing that one form of your character is the only person you are. And they're not trying to acknowledge the duality of the personagehood that you have, right? So a person, in first person, you are the trustee. So when you're acting in your first person, you are the principal, trustee. And that's usually I, thou, me, mine, myself, we, us, our, ours, or ourselves. This is what you see on when you open up a bank account. When it says when it refers to the bank, it refers to we, us, our. That's somebody else that's in control of their estate. That's somebody that is connected, one, with his estate, to where he's operating in an executive capacity. And when he's contracting with you, he's speaking to you through his estate as one. We, us, our means the bank. We, us, our means the credit union. We, us, our means, see what I'm saying? So understand, we got the same capacity. We can do the exact same things that they're doing. We just got to learn the rules of the game, learn how to register the entities correctly, learn how to sign correctly, learn how to operate correctly. Understand that. Second person is you, ye, yours, yourself, and yourselves. Second person, also known as an artificial person. Sui juris, one's own rights as beneficiary, right? And B, agents, juris, and as agent of the principal. Okay, so when you're acting in your first person, you're coming in as we, principal and agent, as one. You know what I'm saying? You're coming in your proper person as yourselves, right? When you come in second person, right? Remember, we, us, that's when you are a whole person. A whole person is we, us, I, thou, me, mine. That's whole. That's you speaking wholly. Second person is when you're acting right within your own rights. You're acting as yourself, right? You're acting solely as the vessel or as an agent of the principle, right? And then you got the third person. This is the subject, res thing. Is he, she, it, they, them, theirs, in themselves. So when you go to court and they refer to you, Mr. Bay, did he, I observed him driving. That's the reason why they're doing that, because they're speaking in third person, okay? They're speaking to you in third person. And because we are very naive people, to the point to where when we went to school, took the GED test and all that stuff, we weren't really paying attention to adjectives, linking verbs, pronouns. You see what I'm saying? Sub prefixes, and you know what I'm saying? We weren't really paying attention to that stuff, but if you pay attention to it now, these are the things that they're actually using. Somebody's speaking to you in first, second, or third person, and you don't even understand what he's doing, what he's saying, because you don't remember or you can't recall the things that you learned in school. At one point you knew, now you didn't forgot. Because you did know, you learned it, but then you ain't never used it, so it ain't coming to mind, even though you dealing with information pertaining to that same stuff that you learned in school. A noun, a person, a place, or a thing. So a thing can be a noun, right? A thing can be the subject. Noun is the subject, right? So a thing, a person, a place, or a thing, a noun. Remember? They taught us this thing in school, man. Y'all better stop playing. You better go back to third grade. Remember, a person, a place, or a thing could be a noun. So it could be you, the real you, or it can be a thing posing as you. Can't make it up. Another way to view the three aspects of person is the three roles of a trust as either trustee, principal, beneficiary, agent, or subject, legal person. Okay? The person, Fred Blogs, really has three aspects: first person, second person, and third person, each with certain rights. How the physical you is connected determines not only the aspects, but the limited capacity. First person, principal or the trustee. Second person, it's the agent or beneficiary. And then the third person is the subject or the legal person. So in first person, right, you're the principal or the trustee, right? Acting as principal, trustee, and then second person, you're acting as agent, and the third person, you acting as the person itself. The formality of connections to person, proof of connection to physical you, an aspect of person in question is in the instrument of trust. So what determines whether you are the person or not, it comes from the instrument itself, right? The first person is proven by a properly executed and recorded deed associated with the trust, right? Or a certificate of deed if registered in a foreign jurisdiction. So it's saying in order for you to be this person, you got to record something against the trust. And then you stand in a position of principal. Okay? Second person, beneficiary. The second person is proven by a properly executed, signed, and recorded letter of appointment, commission, or certificate of appointment if registered in a foreign jurisdiction. Okay? And then the third subject is proven by a properly sealed and numbered certificate responding to an entity with a trust registry, e.g., birth certificate, driver's license. Wait a minute. Oh, I think I get it. I think I get it. I think I get it. Dang, so they made us a thing. Oh my goodness, man. They turned us into a thing. A thing which could also be considered as a noun. So it could be the subject in all matters. It could be the leasee and the lease. It could be the buyer in the car contract. And the whole time using your name to deceive you, to make you believe that it's you as the buyer or you as the leasee. But the whole time it's a thing. It's a legal entity, right? And you're acting in third person. See, you've been acting in third person pretty much most of your life, not knowing you was in third person, not knowing of the other person. That's what being incompetent is. It's not understanding the duality of who you are, just thinking you flesh. Okay? An estate is a valid recorded record in a role, creating person and associated rights. See? See, understand what it is. I'm gonna stop right here, man. I'm gonna stop right here. Stop right there. I'm gonna finish this up and my second part of this will be held in my YouTube membership. If you didn't know, we have a YouTube membership on YouTube, and I'm just giving y'all a little piece of some of the information that I be covering, for the YouTube membership. I'll be covering that and kind of give y'all just a little glimpse of some of the information. Without actually giving you too much information. You hear me? But I just wanted you to know that you need to, if you don't know about Building Better Minds, our YouTube page, we have a paid subscription where you can come in and you can actually get exclusive information. A lot of stuff I don't actually put, online, so to speak, in that sense. But let me show you something real quick, if I can. Might not be able to show. Yeah, I might not be able to. Let me see. All right, so like things like this is what I'll be going over. Uh, just so you kind of, I just want to show you the first line. It's the first line right here. See right there where it says absentee means any person of whom the master, after inquiry, believes his whereabouts are unknown and that he has no legal representative in the republic. Okay? So there'd be things like that that I'd be, going into uh, a lot deeper detail about estates, trust, and navigation of your rights when operating uh, in trust. But that's neither here nor there. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me for a short period of time that I came on. But I just want to say that, study to show yourself approved. And make sure that when you do study and you do learn, that you learn from somebody who is qualified to teach properly, because everybody that's teaching this information don't know the ins and outs to a lot of different things that pertain to this information. Uh, so when you following somebody or you decide to learn from a particular person, make sure that you indulge with that person. If y'all want to learn more about any of this information, I suggest that you come in to Building Better Minds, that you get a consultation, you get you a membership, maybe get you a mentorship or something like that, to where you can be mentored to learn more. It's very important that certain information, while it's available, that you get it, because it might not be available or accessible to you, you know, as it is now. While I'm still available, I'm able to talk to you or engage you or whatever, in order to show you different things and help you get on the right path where you need to be in order to have the protections that you are entitled to. So, in order to learn more about anything that I'm teaching, anything that you see me covering on any topics, anything, make sure you tap in with us at Building Better Minds uh, .info. And let me see something real quick. Oh man, yeah. But anyway, but like I was saying, I will be coming back with more information, different topics, different things that I'll be covering. Anybody that pretty much follow Brother Isaiah, I put out a lot of information uh, to help people get a better understanding of a lot of things that's going on. I want to read something to y'all before I go. Uh, what's up? Oh, my camera's way up there. Oh, I wonder what's going on with my camera. On down. You know, why you way up there in the first place? You're supposed to be down here. Okay. I'm gonna read something to you real quick. Real quick. Real quick. Whole squad on that real we go 0 to 100 real quick. Okay. All right. Let me read this real quick. Listen to this. Okay. It says that an estate is a fictional concept first created during the region of Henry VIII of England through statutes concerning wills in the use of property Act of 1950 or 1540 to describe the existence and the collection of two or more trusts within a trust corpus, body, corporate, or person of a master trust upon one or more presumptions. Hence, the word estate is derived from two Latin words. Estato, literally meaning by virtue of decree, statute, or judgment. It says, while only one estate may belong to a trust corpus, in trust, an estate may contain potentially an unlimited number of trusts. Therefore, when one speaks of the estate of a legal person, it refers to all and every existing trust and all possible future trusts that may be associated to the person. All trusts and therefore property held in an estate are aggregated into two categories, either real or personal. Real estate consists of the first right to use by the estate in land and tenements, also known as freehold, which traditionally describes or descends to the heirs if no will, or if a will exists, the executors and their administrators, and may be subsequently leased to the beneficiaries. And a personal estate consists of chattel or movables, which go to the executor and the administrators, who may then lease them to the beneficiaries for use. The deed in the will of a testamentary trust that forms an estate is also known as a constitution or statute. Statutes, constitutions, and estates are all derived from the same Latin root word, statute. The term estate is a description of the collection and the arrangement of trust and property within the trust, corporates, and so as the term itself is derived or is devoid of legal personality. Instead, it is the body being the trust corpus or the legal person to which the estate belongs that is recognized as a valid legal entity having a legal personality. Let me read this again. All right. The term estate is a description of a collection and an arrangement of trust with an S and property within the trust, corpus, and so a term itself is devoid of legal personality, right? Instead, it is the body being the trust, corpus, or legal person. So it's saying that the trust or the estate lacks a legal personality. It does not have a legal personality. That's what it's saying. So the estate is void of a personality. Okay? So it's saying that the personality, right? Instead, the body being the trust, corpus, or the legal person. So instead of your estate being the trust, the corpus, or the legal person, the body is considered the legal person. So this is the legal person right here. This is legally the person that you are authorized to use, that you have the authority to control, that you are in power of. All right. And if you believe that this person is legal, is really you, in essence, you're a fool because you're not flesh. Okay, flesh is a conduit or a right that you have in order to use property. And property is a right granted by the divine creator. All right, check it out. Let's keep going. All right. So the legal person is considered as the body or the flesh to which the estate belongs, right? It belongs, that is recognized as a valid legal entity having legal personality. So this flesh, this body is considered as a legal entity. It's an entity because a man is an entity, it's a thing, okay? And it's considered to have a legal personality. So we consider to have legally personalities. These fleshly persons walking around, each and every last one of us has a personality, all right? Or we should have a person, right? All right. And it's considered and it's recognized in law as a lawful entity. So like when you're going into court and stuff and they dealing with the person, they talking about the flesh. All right. When they calling the name out, they're identifying the person connected to the flesh, the registered form. Okay. The registered form is the form that you are in. You're in a form of flesh. And that form was biologically registered at birth. They registered your biological property into a system of registration. Okay. So understand that the form that you are in is a registered form and it's been recorded. What? I can't make it up. I can't make it. Man, I can't make it up, man. Listen, check it out. All right. And the reason why they can record it is because it's not the real you. It's not you. They can't record you. You can't, the true essence can't be recorded, but the biological property of that essence can be recorded. You see what I'm saying? So man, think that if you think this is the real you, then you sadly mistaken. This is your property. Okay. The maximum allowable interest of real estate is fee simple, also known as freehold, which may be potentially infinite duration, a lifetime, a life estate, or an estate for a predetermined number of years. The owner of a freehold may then typically create a smaller estate from their land known as leasehold. Okay? Any political body or aggregate known as state is defined in a state and must therefore belong to a single trust corpus or a legal person, which itself belongs to a testamentary trust in accordance with particular constitutions or statutes as its deed or will. So what it's saying is the state of Missouri, the state of Texas, or any state has to be connected to a legal person. It's saying that no estate, or it's saying that the word state, like, you know, we see state, capital S, T-A-T-E, states, or the United States. It's saying no state, every state is in a state. That's what it's saying. Every state is in a state. And in order for there to be a state, there has to be a legal person tied to that estate. So there can't be a state of Missouri without a legal person backing up that state. See what I'm saying? So that's why I say everything is connected to a person. And once you start realizing that, you realizing that you have higher estates and you have lower estates. Okay? So it says, when referencing to legal persons created with the Roman system upon certain presumptions at birth, the term estate encompasses the body, the mind, the spirit, and all possible living, existing trusts, properties, and liabilities, and future trusts created within the Roman system, right? So basically, you in the Roman system, all right? You're in the Roman system. Let me show you this real quick, because I don't believe in telling you something and not being able to prove it to you, right? So let me show you this. And y'all make sure y'all like and tap the screen, man. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you reciprocate the same love. Make sure you like, share. I'm trying to get my likes up, get my credits up, man. You know what I'm saying? And get more circulation with the videos and different things like that, so that more people can be aware of some of the stuff that I'm teaching to help the society, to help us all, right? So what was I finna show y'all? I was finna show y'all. What was I reading something. I forgot what I was reading. Anyway, I'm trying to remember what I was gonna say. I was gonna show y'all. Damn, I know I just said I was gonna show y'all something. You see, anybody remember what I said? What I said I was gonna show y'all. Oh, praises due. I see you, brother, say you've been reaching out, trying to get a consultation. I can see that. You have to call us when we open up today. Call us at buildingbetterminds.info, and we should be able to schedule you for consultation for today or something like to that degree. I'm trying to remember what I said I was going to show y'all. I was going to show y'all something. Do any of you guys remember what I said I was going to show you? It's 12 of y'all on here. So now not one of y'all remember what I was just about to show you? Any one of y'all remember what I said I was going to show you? Or y'all really paying attention, or y'all just sitting on the video? Looks like a lot of y'all just sitting here, if you ask me. But I'm gonna go ahead and get on up out there then, and go to another platform where I get more interaction. You guys ain't giving no interaction. Nobody's really corresponding, interacting back. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this one go, and I'm gonna strike up again somewhere else and see where we can go from there, so I can get some interaction with the people. It's a good thing when you can correspond back and forth. You get positive, vibes from each other, especially if I'm teaching you and showing you stuff. And then I ask a question. I do expect people to interact. Interacting, it's not even worth it. Y'all